Welcome to the new WG podcast, formerly Due Diligence. And many of you who have seen your Apple and Spotify podcasts coming through, all of a sudden are getting notifications of the same two guys with a new name, and that's why you're seeing it. We are now the WG podcast, and I'm here once again with Lee Taylor. Same old crew.
Thank you, JW.
More fun than ever.
JW and LT, the WG.
And I'm always a big fan of starting fresh and anew, Lee.
I am too. Isn't it nice? Isn't it delightful?
This is an opportunity for us to continue to get better and to continue to bring amazing, fresh content to the people of Atlanta. And I'm Jason Wieloch. Lee and I are both real estate experts at the Wieloch Group of Compass, as you probably know. And if you don't, welcome for the first time. And each week, we're keeping you informed on all things real estate and all things Atlanta and some, purely mindless BS here.
Sometimes we have cool guests.
Like today, we're bringing on a familiar face, Miss Libby Quiner, one of our partner lenders from Movement Mortgage. And Libby, how's it going?
Hello, friends. It is going well. It is, I don't know what day it is. I had someone recently tell me there are no days. It's just yesterday, today, and tomorrow. So it's today.
My dad died of Alzheimer's disease. They wrote a book about it called The 36-Hour Day. And I'm serious, if you can imagine what that's like for Alzheimer's patients. It
like is not knowing what day it is.
And there's a lot, exactly. That's how bad life can get, guys.
Well, we don't think Libby has Alzheimer's.
No.
And if she does, she should not be working on her loans. So Libby recently moved up out of Buckhead down here where we're at and is in Roswell, one of the premier Atlanta suburbs. And not only did she move to Roswell, she has a country-sized property of 6 acres up there. And I don't know how she pulled it off with her fiance, John, but she's got herself a big lake and essentially some countryside in the middle of, or very close to downtown Roswell.
It is, yes, it is I wish I could show you all some stuff this morning. So I've learned a lot about animals. I've learned that when you see a group of owls, they are called a parliament of owls.
Nice. I didn't know that.
Yeah, we've got some owls out back. We have deer all the time. We have my friend Woody, the woodpecker, who woodpeckers are huge, y'all. And they're actually really pretty, bright red. We've got all kinds of things. We've got raspberries, strawberries. We got it all. It's a lot. It's fun though.
That's pretty cool. So they call it a parliament of owls.
They do.
You know what they call a group of crows?
Annoying.
A murder. Yeah. They call them a murder.
Lee, you really like spotting woodpeckers, don't you?
Ain't nothing like seeing a woodpecker out there, Jason.
Anyway, I'm not going to let him go too far on that one. That's what we call a softball in this business.
Crack.
Well, we're going to start, folks. Today, you probably are tuning in because you saw the title, which is interest rates driving buyers back into the market in droves. And we've been talking about the state of the market in most recent days, but we like to add a little bit of local news as well. And so starting with Atlanta, there's a couple little headlines that I noticed this week, which are just another sign of the times. And it started with the Peachtree Road Race. Did y'all see that? Not only was it canceled, well, we all know it was canceled because July 4th came and went. It's now Thanksgiving Day, which in theory, wow, what a way better day to run 6 miles, right? It's going virtual. So we're going to have a virtual Peachtree Road Race, and I'm not really clear how they're going to track a winner. Is this just going to be Scouts Honor or everyone's attached to a Zoom call? How the hell are they going to measure the Peachtree Road Race virtually?
I don't understand.
Me neither.
I don't understand.
They're going to attach what do they call those little ankle bracelets? And
well, from a conflict of interest, the Atlanta Half Marathon has always been on Thanksgiving Day. That 13.1 is a traditional Thanksgiving Day thing for many, many, many people, almost as much as the Peachtree Road Race. It's probably the second biggest race in the city. So it's kind of a weird day to pick.
It's one of the most famous 10Ks in the country, isn't it?
The largest.
It is.
Sure.
And
It's
they
the
pay
lar-
out. I mean, the winner makes like 90, 100 grand.
Yeah. Oh, really? That much
Yeah,
money?
the Peachtree Road Race winner.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just crazy the fourth came and went. I didn't see a lot of details in the write-up, but I'm really, really
I
fascinated.
think you should run it. I think you should run it in
Virtually?
like in a turkey
Like
costume.
like on a treadmill. 6 miles later, I'm in the same place.
Yeah.
That's hysterical.
A turkey costume. It's like the Thanksgiving turkey run live from the WG podcast.
Yes. Yes.
Libby, would you run the Peachtree virtually? Would you consider such a feat?
I mean, I can't run on a treadmill, y'all. It's way too boring. Yeah. So I wonder how many people are going to dress up and run the same track. Because if I were going to do it, that's what I would do.
Not me.
We got a lot of time to think about this these days. And I also have any other thoughts on the Peachtree Road Race? Because I'm going to give a quick little COVID stat.
He's got some stats. You got the best stats.
I do. I've got a
You
doctor from my university that does a write-up every day that shows where we stand. And he not only breaks it down nationally, he'll break it down state by state. And about 2 to 3 weeks ago, it might be closer to a month now, time's really flying, the hospitalizations in Georgia reached a peak of around 3,300 or so. Okay. Now, nationally, they're down 10% week over week alone, by the way. And I think that's to 45,000 or so. And then in Georgia, and this is compared to a high about a month ago, which I can't find Georgia for some reason. Oh, there it is. So we're down to 2,596 hospitalizations. So that's down around 700 to 800 people
from the peak.
But just week over week alone, we're down 10%. A week ago, we were at 2,881. We're at 2,596. And nationally, most states this week dropped double digits in hospitalizations, and the vent and ICU numbers are also coming down pretty much across the board as well. Nobody is in the plus category. So I think that's just great news for Atlanta and everywhere to see those numbers continue to go down.
I did too. But I agree. Don't you think so, Libby?
I do. I'm interested. I wish that were like headline news, and I'm wondering.
Yeah, right.
Not to get political, but how hard did you have to dig for that data?
It's published every single day on a message board that I'm a part of through my university. So,
wow.
Yeah, and the headline news is that North Georgia College up in Dahlonega, there was a huge ass party at the apartments. Seriously,
is that really true?
That was international news this week.
That's the news.
It was a huge ass party, Jason.
What does that mean? International party or
house party? I mean, it was a large back to school fraternity style huge party event at an apartment complex that had no mask wearers and a lot of probably underage drinking and partying. So it made international news because somebody told on somebody, Jason.
What a travesty. I'm sure I wouldn't have been there.
What huge news that kids between 18 and 22 do dumb things.
Well, they're the ones who are going to get COVID according to the mass media.
Well, they probably will. And they'll probably get a little bit of a cough and they need to not go see their parents for a couple weeks. So anyway, that's the moral of the story. Stay at your frat house and I'll see you in December.
November.
By the time you'll all have passed it around and have antibodies anyway.
Right.
And we'll all be vaccinated when you come back.
So true.
Well, anyway, I thought I'd like to add a little sunshine on the podcast.
Right. Yeah. You're right on. You're right on.
Well, speaking of good news, let's move on to the meat of our topic, which is why we brought the expert Libby on today.
Mm-hmm.
And we've got an extremely healthy housing market from a demand standpoint at this moment.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember the housing market ever being this competitive. I lost multiple offers in a $1.5 million range over the weekend with like 6 or 7 offers within 24 hours, and 4 of them were cash. And wow. I've never seen that kind of activity in those price points in my career.
I haven't either.
And we lost above list with no due diligence and no contingencies cash. So when you're losing like that, it means people are really, really seeking a home. and not able to find it, right? So on one hand, we've got a ton of supply. A ton of demand. On the other hand, though, it's not healthy from an inventory standpoint, which means if you're thinking about selling a house right now, you're in a really, really good position to do so. And it's just we don't have that equilibrium. And one of the main reasons for that, not only is because the market was clogged up for a couple months with COVID and it's sort of pent up demand, but it's those interest rates. So we've been hovering at some really enticing, deliciously low interest rates. And Libby, tell us about the state of the mortgage market right now. Give our folks your little quarterly update, your big one, not your little one.
Well, I mean, you hit the nail on the head. Interest rates are still, beyond historic lows. And in fact, anything you read, I would say my crystal ball is beyond clouded and confused, just because of what is going on out there. But yeah, money's as cheap as it will ever be. The prime rate, no one thinks it's going to go anywhere, for bank borrowing. And then, we, for a 30-year fixed, we are as low as we've ever seen it. So, it goes to what you guys are talking about, is that when you've got, people out there shopping, they can borrow money next to nothing. So we're seeing people borrowing more money right now. And it's slammed. I would tell you that what we're seeing right now is that refinances are down a little bit, just because of some news out of Fannie and Freddie last week. But purchases week over week have been climbing for our company, and then just at large since May.
What's the lowest rate you've locked to date?
For a purchase or a refinance?
Purchase. Or both. Why not? We've got the time.
Well, obviously it depends on loan program and all the other things. So I'll give
30-year fixed.
30-year fixed. The lowest I've locked, 2.6.
Oh my God. I feel like I got ripped off. I closed at 3.3 and I was so excited. Now I feel left out.
There's, lenders, we're putting some things in place, I would say, unfortunately at this point. And again, this is news out of last week, what Fannie and Freddie have done, which is essentially charge lenders a 0.5 point on refinances. So, and then if you were so lucky to refinance early, before lenders put in place kind of longer turn times, then, rates were still super low. Right now, I think we're going to see a delay or a ceasing, if you will, on refinances, because of what Fannie and Freddie have done. Essentially, they're saying that if they're going to guarantee the mortgage, then they're building their coffers. And I think it's because of what's happening on the forbearance side. So they're charging lenders.
I think it's that, and it's a long-term thing, Libby.
They can't afford to get rates that low.
We had to bail them out. And the only way they're going to be sustainable is to raise fees to sustain the amount of risk they take.
Well, and that's just it. Forbearance, at least the first, 6 months is coming to an end. And so if Fannie ends up having to buy back these loans, they're going to need money to do so, because the servicers are seeing a crunch right now. The investors are whole, right? Mortgage-backed securities, those investors have to be paid. Servicers are seeing a short-term liquidity crunch, because they are floating money that the borrower is not paying. They're still paying the investor. And then ultimately, if the market doesn't get back, the economy doesn't get back, people aren't back to work, people aren't able to pay their mortgage, then Fannie and Freddie have to have money to buy them back. So, and who knows? The man behind the curtain, who knows if they're also helping to pay for another round of stimulus,
Yeah, there's very little incentive for banks to cooperate with people wanting to refi below 3%.
I agree. But the fee thing's real, and I think we saw it coming years ago, honestly. This had to happen. So the golden age is not over, though.
No, and so there's still a huge opportunity. There's still people sitting out there with 4% and 5% and 6% interest rates, maybe even higher. Gosh, I saw one that was in the double digits because a family was just basically servicing debt on an estate property and they hadn't looked at it, you know? But I would say, like you guys said, I mean, if there's somebody out there that wants to buy or sell, I know inventory is low, but if you're locked and loaded and well qualified, you're going to borrow money so insanely cheaply that it's kind of an amazing place to be.
So what is it that you believe is the main culprit behind rates remaining so low? Because it seems to me that even if rates were 3.5% right now, that there would be more than enough demand for real estate.
So why do I think rates are low?
Why are they so low? It doesn't seem like they need to be this low to stimulate the market. It almost seems like it's causing more pain in some circumstances than it's helping.
Well, I mean, there's really no reason for it. I don't need to go into my conspiracy theories that
Who's the man behind the curtain?
Right? Yeah. So, I mean, I think it's the Fed, honestly. I mean, if you look at what percentage housing accounts for in terms of GDP, I mean, it's 40 basis points. So when the economy stalls out or has, slowed down, there's certain sectors that are really hurting. I mean, hospitality's hurting. Gosh, the cruise industry, airline industry, retail industry. I mean, how many shops closing and retailers saying that they're not, I read some statistic about Victoria's Secret, how many stores they're closing. the Starbucks near me, which when I was feeling too lazy to make a cup of coffee, I'd run up there and get it. They're closed. So, the economy's counting on housing. The Fed is this very dovish and they're, printing money via bonds, buying back bonds. That drives the price of bonds up and interest rates down. So I can't answer it, Jason. And I think that's what kind of plagues me a little bit. With the stock market where it is, I can't answer that either. I think it's kind of insane. I mean, stocks, we just closed at the highest price point we have ever yesterday, and bonds are trading beautifully.
It's really crazy to think about how so many forces at work, not to get too much into financial markets, folks, because we know you're here to hear about real estate. It's amazing to listen to numbers and not really be able to make sense of them, because generally supply and demand plays itself out. So with regards to real estate, interest rates generally are low to help stimulate the market, right? And to stimulate people making purchases. But right now there's so much demand for it. I wouldn't mind seeing a little bit of interest rate hikes to alleviate this frenzy. So I don't know. I mean, it sounds like nobody knows except that man behind the can.
I think what I'd like to see,
if
you really want to alleviate the frenzy, it would probably be regulatory, Jason. If we freed up the process of getting houses built and affordable housing built and other ways of getting progress made, we wouldn't have as much of a supply problem.
You can't even find lumber right now.
Right. And I really believe that to be true. And I think more and more sellers I think we are on a run, guys, for at least a couple of years. We're just going to have so many listings that just fly off the market.
Yeah, it's really nice to have listings that sell quickly. It's also nice to have a listing that is on the market more than a day.
And government has been sluggish this year and it hasn't helped with regulatory processes.
That's right.
Yeah. And can I say something about Starbucks?
You may.
Okay. So remember WeWork? Y'all remember WeWork? Remember what that looked like?
It still exists.
I know.
It's not out of business.
The new Starbucks store model almost is like WeWork's level subscriptive models.
Oh, what is it?
Which is pretty cool. I'm just saying they're going into places where a very, very healthy, wealthy company like Starbucks can go in and disrupt markets that are falling apart.
Okay, so wait.
WeWork's falling apart. The whole concept of being in places, but people are very, very comfortable walking into Starbucks. And if you trust the Starbucks brand, you might trust it with a private office space that you can also call your office at Starbucks. So that whole idea is being blended in a powerful way by one of the biggest retailers in the world, Starbucks.
Okay, so maybe I missed part of that, which is you're saying Starbucks is opening WeWork-like facilities?
I'm saying that their newest and latest and greatest store concepts will be blended into a much greater retail concept or office or business concept like you see at WeWork.
Do you know what that looks like more concretely?
I can get you some news articles to read.
Oh,
I'll have to look at that too.
How about you read them for me?
Just telling you, I mean, this is the kind of stuff that when markets gets disrupted, the winners come in with their big money and can fix things on different models that they have adapted really, really, really well.
I read a couple weeks ago that WeWork had reorganized nicely and was positive cash flow.
Well, I'm saying Starbucks is a big old behemoth who can disrupt things. That's all I'm saying.
I mean,
and take advantage of markets where they've been disrupted.
I've got a Starbucks right at the corner here, and I enjoy picking it up. I pick up my Nitro Grande every morning about 7:30, and those guys all in there, they know me, and you'll have 3 guys go, "What's up, Jason?"
Yeah.
When I walk through the door. It's so cool when like your corner Starbucks crew all knows you and is like handing your coffee to you. It's like ready.
Jason's such a VIP up here.
I feel so
It's like
validated.
Yeah, somebody's got to be a hero around here, Jason. Might as well be you.
Libby, do you have a Starbucks where they know your name?
No, because I drive through in my pajamas.
Really? That
Yeah.
seems memorable, though.
I mean, probably.
Probably. Lee, where do you frequent for your morning, Joe?
I drink a lot of coffee at home, and I don't spend a lot of time in coffee shops. I've never been a person enamored with the Starbucks brand, and my favorite coffee shop is Java Lords and Little 5 Points because they start serving liquor at 6 a.m.
Liquor?
Yeah, and I don't drink anymore, but that is a cool hallmark of their quality.
But if you did drink it,
I drink coffee. If I want a cup of coffee at 6 a.m., you can't get one in Little 5 Points anywhere else other than the Java Lords.
Did you ever drink at 6 a.m.?
Coffee. And yes, I threw up before you got up, boy.
That's not true, folks. So what else is new, Libby? Are you ready to get out of quarantine or what? I mean, we're not really in quarantine, but are you stir crazy? I mean, you got 6 acres, so I don't feel that bad for you. But you do have 3 screaming kids.
We do. I know they're really quiet right now. I'm almost like, what's happening? They're in the basement. Well, I'm ready for the kids to go back to school. I really am. So I'm trying to make that happen. The teachers are rock stars trying to do it virtually, but I mean, you know, it's just difficult. It's difficult on anyone, but I'm not going to sit here and complain because I do think that there are lots of people out there hurting and far worse shape. But I mean, it's hard on I love the analogy. You guys have both heard this, but it's like we're all in the same storm in terms of just how life looks and how challenging things are. But all of our ships look a little bit different. So
true. Hey, can I ask you a question about something I heard you recently did up in Cobb County? I heard you went to our teammate Stephanie Halchin's CrossFit box.
Oh, that's right.
Oh my gosh, I love her.
Truck tires. Yeah, isn't she great? I heard that you had quite a workout.
I did. In fact, that's one of the reasons the kids need to go back to school because I like to go with Stephanie in the evening. And then I love to get up and be at the 6 o'clock class. Cause I mean, I'm about as good at CrossFit as I am like sewing. And I don't even know how to do that. I can put it on a button. So Stephanie's a beast, y'all. She is unbelievable.
Really?
Yeah, she's fit. She's a certified trainer as well.
And she's a 2-time mom, right?
Yeah.
2-time mom.
Yeah.
And she sells a lot of real estate. She's
sure
really
does.
good at her job.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, that
happy to have
CrossFit
her.
gym, y'all, we need to have like a team outing up there. I mean, Aaron is amazing. He's a great coach. That gym, I've been to a couple CrossFit gyms. That's definitely the nicest one I've been to.
Really? It's the CrossFit box. It's located what part of Cobb County?
It's right off 75 when you're headed towards Marietta.
Okay. On the upper loop or where?
I have no idea because I come from Roswell and I'm just like bad at directions, but it's about 15 minutes from my house. And you literally, when you get off at the Marietta Roswell kind of 75 exit, I think it's like 263. It's basically right there.
Got it.
Nice. Well,
shout out to CrossFit.
We'll have to, as a team, and with you, Libby, go see Stephanie's gym. Her husband, Aaron, runs it up there, the CrossFit gym. She's been begging me for a few weeks. So I think that would be a nice little outing. And Libby, we appreciate having you on our new rebranded WG podcast this week. And folks, as a reminder, we have so many things to offer you in this market. We have real estate solutions that will really, I think, be transformative and helpful for the times that we're living in, whether it be our private exclusives to help you sell your home without droves of realtors coming through to give you that privacy. Our bridge loan program is extremely powerful in this market. If you're worried about selling in a day and not able to find a home, you can find that dream home first. We can help you buy it in tandem with Libby, primarily financing your mortgage. And that saves you that sort of in between segment of home buying and selling. And so that's just a couple examples of the many things we're doing locally at the Wieloch Group, powered by Compass. And as a reminder, we've taken the time to meet and greet and get to know and befriend the very best real estate professionals in all the major markets across this country. This is not ad space they're buying. We are literally invested in the idea of the very best people in each market. So if you are moving away from Atlanta, we can help you find an agent. If you're thinking about moving to Atlanta and you don't know who you're going to hire there, we can hook you up the best. Or if you've got friends moving across the country, we can also help them, and then you'll look like a rock star. So that's just the tip of the iceberg for us, Lee Taylor, myself, Jason Wieloch, real estate experts at the Wieloch Group of Compass. We appreciate you being back on our newly branded podcast. And Libby, we appreciate having you with us once again. You are just a delight and a remarkable
appreciate her
professional.
daily. Yeah, she's one of the best mortgage people I've ever worked with, and her knowledge of the dynamics of what's happening daily is unparalleled. She's very, very, very smart.
I agree. Well, thank you, Libby.
You're awesome.
And we will see all of you all next week on the WG podcast.
Thanks.